Hello and welcome to Science with Mrs. Blackburn. We have been talking about how matter cycles throughout ecosystems, and today I wanted to do a little lab on the carbon cycle. So, what are we going to use for this lab today? I'm going to use a simple piece of sidewalk chalk. So the first thing we need to know is that sidewalk chalk is actually made of a material called calcium carbonate, and it is actually made from, and this is kind of gross, the bodies of dead little tiny marine organisms called phytoplankton. Now phytoplankton are really tiny marine or water organisms that are found in the ocean. They can do photosynthesis and they have these tiny little shells on them made of this calcium carbonate material. So what happens is when these phytoplankton die, their little bodies collect at the bottom of the ocean and create chalk deposits, because chalk is made out of that calcium carbonate that's found inside of them. And we use it for things like sidewalk chalk, chalkboard chalk, and it's even in some nutrient supplements that people take sometimes. So what happens to that chalk layer from the little marine organisms, the little phytoplankton, is that as they remain in the ocean, some of that will dissolve and release carbon dioxide gas, which is going to go back out into the atmosphere and go back into the carbon cycle. So that's a pretty cool thing. So what we're going to do today with our little piece of sidewalk chalk is we're actually going to get some carbon dioxide gas out of this chemically, and we're going to kind of look at the carbon cycle in that way. So I'm using just regular sidewalk chalk. Some sidewalk chalks aren't made of calcium carbonate, some are made of other minerals or silica base, things like that, but mine is. So you can do the first part of the lab at home if you have the right type of sidewalk chalk. So you can just look at the ingredients and see what it's made out of. So let's go ahead and get started. To do today's lab, all I'm using is some vinegar. Here I have a graduated cylinder, which you probably don't have at home, but you could use a water bottle. Have a little measuring cup. I have a rolling pin to crush my chalk, some sidewalk chalk, and then a couple of balloons. So the first thing we're going to have to do in our lab is we want to get our little piece of chalk that has that calcium carbonate in it into powder form. So the easiest way to do this is to put it in a little plastic bag, make sure it's sealed very tightly, and use something like a rolling pin, or you can even use a can to quickly kind of bang on it and grind it up and get it into a powder form. So we'll go ahead and do that really quickly. So now I have all my chalk in a nice little bowl here. I have it nicely, finely ground, okay? And what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to put this into my graduated cylinder. Now, you probably don't have one of these at home, okay? I have one here because I'm a science teacher. And so you could do this with a bottle of water, an empty bottle, okay? An empty water bottle would do just fine for this. Just make sure it's nice and dry. So how am I gonna get this in here? The easiest way to do that is to make yourself a little funnel out of just a piece of paper. I folded this one in half just to make it smaller. And all you have to do is kind of roll and make yourself just a quick little funnel. Almost like a cone shape. So see that? I'm going to use that to put my chalk into my graduated cylinder, like so. So there it is. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in. You can't see this part. You can a little bit. And so there we go. Now I've got my chalk in my graduated cylinder, or for you if you want to try this at home, into a water bottle. So now that I have my chalk in my graduated cylinder, I am going to pour some vinegar in here with it. And as you're probably realizing, there's going to be a chemical reaction that's going to happen. What's going to happen when I pour the vinegar in, and I'll do just a little bit here at first, you're going to notice some bubbling, okay? That's our carbon dioxide gas coming out of my chalk. I'll add a little more here, and I'm going to very carefully put a balloon on my graduated cylinder to trap that gas. And as you notice, the gas is going to inflate the balloon. Pretty cool, huh? So that's going to be carbon dioxide gas going into the balloon. So we were able to take the calcium carbonate, react it with vinegar, which is an acid, acetic acid, and the gas that's resulting is carbon dioxide gas. One other thing that I want to show you today with this is I'm going to prove to you that that is actually carbon dioxide. And I'm going to use something called a chemical indicator, okay? More specifically, a pH indicator, which is going to tell if something is an acid or a base. So, in this little tube here, I've got this material, this little liquid. It's blue, as you can see, really, really dark blue, almost black. This is called bromothymol blue. It's a chemical indicator which is going to change colors when it's exposed to an acid. Now, here's the cool thing about carbon dioxide gas is that when it dissolves in water, it creates something called carbonic acid. So technically, if this gas dissolved in water, then it's going to make a weak acid, okay? Which is kind of interesting because the soda that you drink has dissolved carbon dioxide and water in it, so it's slightly acidic. It's got that carbonic acid in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this balloon off. I'm going to put it over this bromothymol blue, which by the way is mixed with water in this little tube, and I'm just going to leave it there for a while, and then we're going to come back to it and see what happens. So I'm going to very carefully take off my balloon here without losing too much of the gas, and I'm going to put this over my little test tube, and we're going to leave it for a while and come back and see what happens. So let's take a look at our little experiment with the bromothymol blue indicator and see if carbon dioxide was able to get into our water to create carbonic acid. And look, it used to be really dark blue. Now it's a kind of dark yellow orange color, and that shows that that worked. Okay, so pretty cool little experiment with a chemical indicator. So that proves that what came out of the chalk was indeed carbon dioxide. So super cool. Okay, one last little demonstration, and Liam is here to help me. Say hello.
Hello.
He's going to help me prove that we breathe out carbon dioxide. Okay, so we're going to use that same chemical indicator, bromothymol blue, that I used in the last little lab. And what he's going to do is he's going to use this straw to blow air into this little jar that's full of that blue pH indicator, bromothymol blue, okay? So just so you know, we're doing this safely. He's just gonna blow into it. He's not gonna suck any in, right?
No.
Okay, good. And so we're gonna see what happens when he breathes out carbon dioxide gas into this. So while he's doing that, be thinking of what's gonna happen. So Liam, you can go ahead and get started. Very carefully blow bubbles. Take a break and tell everybody what you notice is happening here.
It's turning green.
It's turning green. Let's see if you can turn it even lighter.
Okay.
And there we go. We've got a yellowish green color.
Yellow?
That is swampy yellow. That's going to prove that we are breathing out carbon dioxide. So super cool, fun lab today. Thank you for watching. You can try the first part of this at home. I'm sure nobody has bromothymol blue at their house, but thank you for watching. And if you need me, you know where to find me. Have a wonderful day.